Good evening, y'all. Come on in. Come on in.
Good
Come
evening,
on in.
everyone.
Come
Happy
on in.
Friday. Let us know if you can hear us.
We're good.
We're good? Awesome.
And it's on the camera too. You can see the little green thing.
Perfect. I like that.
Good evening.
Good evening,
What
everyone.
up, Keisha?
Hello.
What
hello.
up, Tracy? Nah, I don't know if y'all know this, but Keisha and Tracy, y'all seem to be the number 1 and 2 in the morning time, in the teaching time, and even tonight. So, I think it's just the trainers in you makes you just want to be first in everything. But, I know you're not super competitive. Anyway, God bless you. God bless you. Come on in. Let us know where you're streaming from.
We're going to have a wonderful evening this evening.
Let us know where you are streaming from. Let us know where you're streaming from. Yes. Let us know where you're streaming from. Good evening, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
We're going to give y'all another minute. Come on in, New Jersey. Thank you, New Jersey.
Yeah, let us know where you're streaming from.
Yes. Miss Job. Is my brother working tonight, or is he going to be helping me? So I know last time we got on, y'all really said man was down. Boy, I was getting, it was hard on us. Hey, Lynette, God bless you. Brandon, what's up?
All right, Virginia,
Roanoke, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Jamaica, I see it.
always
God bless you.
nice.
We actually had plans to go in a couple weeks, but had to reschedule.
Yes.
Ontario, what's up, Karen? What's up? Denise Somerville.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
All right, well, we're going to jump in. My name is JOMO.
And I'm Charmaine.
And we come together on Friday nights with, sessions where we keep it real, raw, and relevant in reference to relationships. Tonight, we're talking about level up on communication. But before we start, we always start off with our Cousins Chronicles. These are just things that happen in our day-to-day life that we just talk about. And we discuss, laugh at, and learn at through communication. Well, to my shock, I went to get my car fixed in reference to, it was just I forgot the name of the little small thing on the front. Sensor. So I thought I had a sensor issue, right? So I went to the body shop to get the sensor fixed on my vehicle. And the man said, sir, you have a lot of damage. I said, whoa. Don't try to whoop me. Because sometimes you go to mechanics, they try to get you. And so he says, no, come let me show you another car and show you what's wrong with your car. And he showed me. And then after all of that, I'm kind of stunned because, see, I went there with an estimation of paying $350. I had no estimation of something flipping into thousands of dollars. But anyway, he said, sir, I want you to put your hand right here. And there was a dent. He says, JOMO, I believe somebody hit you and drove off. I said, hot dog. I said, and it started to click.
We should have known that it was something more than what we thought it was.
Because the sensor doesn't pop out.
And it looked weird too.
Yeah, so
the whole front end.
We had a wedding at Rusty Pelican. It was late at night. We were doing the wedding and we're going home. And we backed into our parking space. So when he said I was hit, I just saw it. You ever see it when you didn't see it? But I saw it. And somebody hit my car and drove off. But
you know what? That's just like, because it wasn't, the front, do you call it front bumper?
Yes, the front bumper.
The front bumper, it must have popped back out after the person hit it because all of the damage was inside. And it must have popped right back out. But that's just like relationships sometimes, right?
Correct.
It looks good on the outside.
Oh boy, now you're preaching.
You pop that hood and really look on the inside, you all mushed up and jacked up.
It's kind of like your spouse tells a joke. And and
you laughing on the outside, but you thinking,
but you wait till I get home.
I am crushed. My feelings are hurt. I can't believe they joked about that.
Yeah, so baby Black is in the shop right now.
Baby Black, you named it? Foolishness.
Y'all name purses and stuff. call it her and that kind of stuff. Neither here nor there. Just interesting stuff.
Yes.
It's funny to I tell my wife this all the time in reference to relationships and life. People will bring the price down. Okay, so
right.
We were getting.
Go on.
No, you go ahead, babe.
Oh, I was gonna say I actually homeschool our 13-year-old, our youngest son, and we had a really productive homeschooling week this week. It doesn't always work out the way we want to, based off of our schedules and things that's going on, and moods and expectations, and whether the assignments are more difficult one week than they are another week. Sometimes things click and sometimes they don't. But this week was so productive, and as I was working with him on Wednesday, I was thinking, this is quality time that I'm spending with him that I'm never going to be able to get back again. So I just wanted to cherish these times with him because it's special to me. So yeah, I was just really happy about, how this week went, and just discovering him growing and how he processes information and thinks about things.
It's challenging.
A proud mommy moment.
Homeschooling is very difficult. We have homeschooled all of our children at some point in time. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any one of them has been easy.
Oh. Little JOMO was kind of easy.
Well, in perspective.
In the grand scheme of things, our oldest was the easiest because he was more disciplined with his morning regimen. Correct. So he had a schedule. He stuck by the schedule, and he tried to beat his time with the schedule. So, if he was supposed to have his reading done by 8:00, he would have it done by 7:30. And then when I asked him about reading, I've already done that, So he was really good about the morning routine, and we did more things. Because he was a part of a homeschool group, and
different life.
We did field trips.
Pre-COVID,
right?
Pre-COVID,
because he's 22 now.
He had grown.
But he went to high school, straight A's, graduated 4.3. He knocked it out the park. So we just need to get our other son.
JOMO need to graduate too. He need to graduate and get a job and do all the other stuff.
Well, he's gonna get his PhD, so he got a lot more schooling to do.
It's a lot more bills, huh? Anyway, I was talking about communication. I'm just going to jump right into that.
Okay. Level up on our communication.
Whether you know it or not, I was actually reading a stat. The most critical issue in relationships is communication. And it's communication about every aspect of the relationship. Whether it's money, sex, raising children. Right. Communication is the common denominator to broken relationships. One study showed that 86% of divorced couples admitted they had communication problems in their marriages. So if almost 9 out of 10 relationships that divorced had communication problems, what does it mean? We have different visions, different understanding, and we have never come to a place of understanding.
Right.
We have to understand communication is not just saying it right. Communication is also hearing it right. Mm-hmm. We have a responsibility to say it right and also responsibility to hear it right. I was taught by a great communicator, communication has not been complete until the person who heard you understood it like you wanted them to understand it.
How often do we really take responsibility for the person that we're giving the information to receive it in the way that we want them to? A lot of times we want to give it the way we want to give it, and we don't care whether they truly understood because we just feel like they should understand the way we communicate it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's a perfect example of how school systems, if the children are failing, who do they go after? The teacher. The communicator.
Right.
So the onus of communication is on the communicator.
Right.
And you have not truly communicated until there is understanding.
Right.
And they may not agree, but they have to understand.
Good teachers will actually say if their students are failing, that it's their issue, not the student's issue, because not every child thinks alike. So if you're a good educator, you can reach each child on their own level, and every child can get that same information, whether it be verbal communication, whether it be a show and tell, whether it be something where they're touching something and something hands-on. A good teacher will always say, what am I doing wrong? How can I give the information better? And not blame it on the children.
Well, I think that is a level of maturity that many people do not possess to really own their lack of communication or
Mhm.
how, because you have to be mindful when you're communicating, you have to communicate in a manner that a person can receive it. So it has to be
Right.
tasty,
Right. You said something
seasoned.
really good too. Maturity says to us, well, because my mind thinks of it this way, that doesn't necessarily mean that their mind thinks it the same way. Because I know you and I will be talking and I'll be on one page and I'll think I communicated this really well. I broke it down, right? And then he'll, by his response or his actions, it'll say he didn't understand and I didn't communicate properly. So then I try to reword it. And sometimes he just won't agree. And I'll think, okay, I must not have communicated properly because you're supposed to agree. Right.
And that's the rub. There's a difference between understanding and
Mhm.
agreement.
Right. That's good.
A person can understand what you said, but not agree with what you want to do.
And you have to be cool with that.
And I think that's an
Yeah.
area that we wrestle with often because it feels like I may not understand, but I
Right.
understand
I
what you
just don't
said.
agree with
I
you.
just don't agree with you.
Right.
So then there's a rub or a frustration could arise
Mhm.
because you know what, you may reiterate it or say it again. You're like, well, you don't understand.
Right.
No, I understand. I just don't agree.
Right.
And I know for our relationship, we do that a lot. Whereas, you know
Mhm.
what, I understand what she said, but I don't agree with what she said. And then therefore there's a rub. But we have to balance that out of understanding. So communication is not just saying it right, it's also hearing it right.
Right.
It also means what kind of body language I have. What's
Mhm.
my tone? Is this a
Right.
good time? Is what kind of attitude am I communicating with right now?
Mhm.
Have I given them a reason to hear?
I can't remember what it was recently.
Yes, recently.
I said to you, I said that really nicely. I said, if I would have said it in a different tone, would you have still felt the same way you felt? You said, yeah, I would have. And I was like, okay, well, it wasn't my tone. It wasn't the way I communicated. You just didn't like what you heard. And I'm good with it. If you don't like it, I can't. Information is information, right? But I thought that was really funny because I was trying to make sure that I was giving the information in a good way, and he was pretty much saying he was giving it in a good way. I just don't like what you're saying. So
Communication's an imperfect art.
it is.
I'm in the midst of a chapter. I'm typing about communication right now,
Mhm.
and it's the challenges we have with communication they're so extensive,
Mhm.
because we understand on different levels, and it's the right time of day, the right season. I mean,
Right.
I know that we often communicate better on vacation. You know what I mean? I'm like, and then when in the midst of stuff, it seems like we're always missing each other. You know what I mean? So I think where you are, stress, all these things factor in, because
Absolutely.
you may have issues on your job right now. And the last thing you want to do is talk about anything serious, so all these things factor in
Like the stresses, the daily
daily
stresses.
stresses. And the last thing you want to do is talk
Right.
and listen and understand. And that's why we have to come to a place of, of of really locking in and say, okay, we're going to communicate right now. And it may be 10, 15 minutes, but you can't allow it to frustrate you.
Right. Tonight, we're going to be talking about different types of communication. So, the first type of communication is just basic information.
Correct.
It's the day to day information that you communicate to your spouse. And to me, this can be the most frustrating if you all don't meet on the same page on the day to day information. It can get so frustrating, you feel like you can't communicate about anything. Because if you're just trying to communicate what your schedule is for the day, or whether you have a doctor's appointment, or whether your job on the job is going to be very stressful for that week or whatever, just the little things, the things that you have to communicate in order to kind of survive through a marriage.
Dinner's ready.
Right. And then you're offended by that. I mean, it's just like you would think that the little things would be like, oh, it's not a big deal. But the little things can be so frustrating sometimes because
I'm
you're
leaving
thinking,
the house.
I should be able to. Right.
Yeah, I'm leaving. See you later. I have a sketch, just small stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that is something that can just, if you've ever had a chance or you thought somebody was in the house and they were gone.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's just a small communication. Hey, I'm going down the street.
Right.
And then you could feel some kind of way that they bounce without saying anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
So those little small areas of communication can be very helpful. Right. And then and the challenge is if you don't do those things, then all of a sudden it can spiral out and you're thinking something else and it may not be nothing, just I forgot.
Right.
It's not a negative connotation, just I forgot.
It happened with us last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the phone with my parents and I left. He was sleeping. I was on the phone with my parents. I was like, okay, in order for me to be able to tell him, I would either have to stop what I'm doing, write a note, or wake him up and tell my parents to, pause on what they were talking about. I was trying to let them get out what they were trying to get out. So I left. I said, I'm going to come right back. Came back. He's like, from now on, can you just let me know when you're leaving the house? And I mean, we already know that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's not a problem. And I explained to him what was going on. He was like, oh, okay, yeah. I said that was like an individual thing. It wasn't a lot. It's not an ongoing problem.
Couple things with that. If you don't confront or say what you feel, it eventually becomes something more than it is.
Right.
So if you feel something, it's best to be healthy to communicate, not trying to be negative, just to be honest.
Right.
And so many people can't be honest in a relationship and they let things fester and become something worse. Just say it, okay? Right. And that's my thing because, I'm concerned about her on a different kind of level sometimes, but neither here nor there. My premise is communicate, you know what? And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It's not to be a negative thing. It's just communication. And sometimes we are so afraid to confront, and you'll never change what you don't confront. You got to be honest. I know we've been married 20-something years. I understand that. But if I feel something, I want to say something. Get it? If you feel something, either say something.
That's good.
If you feel, because again, that feeling, if you don't deal with that issue will eventually deal with you.
Right. Number 2,
partnership. Okay. Now, what is this? What are the responsibilities that we have to share that we have to talk about?
Right.
Picking kids up, dropping kids off,
right?
Paying bills. My son, I forgot to order a debit card. My wife was looking for it in the mail. Well, guess what? I forgot. I should have communicated that I didn't do my job. But I got on the phone and I had to pay a little money for an express. But those are things we need to talk about. If there's a doctor's appointment for our children, we need to talk about this, because we're partners in this.
Right. You don't want to find out when something's wrong at the doctor's office.
Correct.
That your spouse is at the doctor's office and you didn't even know they were there. So just the stuff that you have to share.
Bills.
Responsibility.
Did you pay the mortgage?
Right.
Are the lights going to be all right? Meaning these conversations affect everybody.
Right. Your credit.
Lord Jesus. I remember we had I was making the last payment on her vehicle, and they sent me a letter saying, you didn't pay the bill and it's affecting her credit report. Man, I just kind of went off because I knew I paid it, and so I called the bank to try to get it fixed, and then I had some rude chick telling me, sir, once you're late, your credit's ruined. And I said, no, well, I paid it. Y'all put on the wrong account. But long story short, I got on the phone with the manager, and the manager said, so why didn't you fix it? And of course, it got fixed. But my point to you is,
and we got a letter of apology.
Too. It's important that the things like bills and credit and kids, we have to be in agreement on it. We have to talk about it. All right. Number 3, conflict resolution. Ooh,
because there will be conflict in your marriage. You do not get to be exempt from conflict in your relationship, but to be able to handle the conflict and manage conflict is a whole nother art in itself.
It's funny when I hear people say we don't argue, I kind of look sideways.
Yeah, right. And not even like argue, but just disagree. Like you don't have to be drag out fighting about something, but you're gonna disagree about something. I mean, unless you have a yes man person in a relationship that just doesn't care, and then
that's not healthy.
And it's not healthy because you should have an opinion about something.
Yeah. I hate. Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but some people's relationship is like that. Like they really never get their spouse's opinion, or they never get their point across because there's like one dominant person just always getting their way.
It's like Coming to America. Whatever you like. Hop like a dog. Whatever.
And see,
you
that's scary because the
Some-
thing is, they're gonna blow up eventually. You can't live your whole life like
I
that.
don't know. Some people actually just sit there in that role. It's just weird. But anyway, neither here nor there. You want to
Yeah.
make sure that you can resolve conflicts. It's not about conflict. It's about resolution. And there's no resolution without conflict. So we have to come together to talk about these different challenges that may happen in a relationship. It's real. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Remember, you'll never change what you don't confront. You have to be able to communicate.
Right.
That
This is good, babe.
Yes. So 3 kind of problems that you'll have. Number 1, solvable problems.
Right.
Solvable problems. What are solvable problems? House cleaning, disciplining, sex. We can fix this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You want to have sex 5 days a week. I want to have sex 3 days a week. Let's meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? These are solvable issues. We could talk about disciplining our kids.
Right.
These are solvable issues. Okay. Right. We need to clean the house. Well, babe, we don't have the money right now. Well, we'll clean it ourselves. Okay, babe, we have the money. Let's hire somebody. Right. These are fixable things.
Right.
Then you have perpetual problems. Oof.
And these are just reoccurring issues.
This is who you are.
And they're not going to get fixed.
No.
You have to learn how to manage them.
These are character issues and not negative character issues. Okay.
Just character issues.
This is just who the person is.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so
you've accepted that if you're married. If you're dating, then you have a choice on whether you want to live your life accepting whatever the perpetual issues are.
Correct. Like, I'm really driven. She's really driven too. We're just driven in different ways. Okay.
Right.
So if I'm locked in on something, I want to get it done.
If we are together on something, it's going to be magic.
Yes. Got it.
Because we are so driven and we will stay up all night long to get it done.
Yes.
We're 150% in. Whatever we come together on, it's everything. So
I'm kind of frustrated by that statement right there because we need to come together on a couple more things. Praise God. Really push ourselves. But it's the challenge of life. When I think about it is,
I want to know what he's talking about, but I think I already did.
No, what I was thinking about is in the season of life we're in right now, of trying to help our kids get to a certain spot, you really can't be 100.
Right. But I think that you feel like, well, we need to push in both areas more than what we are or more than what I am, because, if we didn't push in one area, then we wouldn't be able to afford to do the things we're doing for our kids. Is that the mindset?
Somewhat. I mean, I understand there's a time and a season for everything.
Right.
You can't get everything done in the season you wanted to. Okay. So there's certain things that God has. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes, there's a time and a season for everything under the sun.
Yes.
Right now, we're in the season of child rearing. Okay. One is, in college.
Right.
One, we want to get to college, and one is wherever he's at. Praise God. So right now, our goal is to get our kids to a certain spot. So we have not really seen us dominate yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we got married, and within 9 months or so, you were pregnant. And from that point on,
how did that happen?
I don't know. I just told you to get up off me, but you just kept getting on top of me. And that's I'm addictive like that. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. So
but I'm feeling what you're saying, because a lot of times some of my mentors or the people I look up to, they're in a different season of life. Their children are adults. Their children have children and are married. And you see them doing so many more things. Traveling more. They're in ministry. They're able to minister more. Just, operate on multiple platforms and do it well. And it's because they're in a different season of life. And you have to be very careful with comparing yourself, to other people and what they're able to do and, what they're able to do and when they're able to do it, because a lot of times it's not apples to apples you're comparing to.
Correct.
So just make sure that it can be dangerous or it could be a motivator. Just make sure it's healthy. It's not, keeping up with the Joneses type thing.
So, and then we have gridlock, perpetual problems.
Come on, break it down.
There's no resolution here. And this is stuff you don't even want to talk about anymore. Now, I believe most of the time I'm a good communicator most of the time. But sometimes in marriage, I struggle because I think your intent can get misconstrued with your behavior. Gotcha. You may mean right, but you don't say it right, or you don't have a corresponding action that lines up to what you said. You know
well, that means you didn't say it right.
That's what I'm saying. So I realized that, because we were driving here today, and she's like, JOMO, what are our perpetual problems? I said, I know you feel like I don't listen well. I said, I know that. And I think that there are times when that's totally factual, and I agree. And I think there's times you don't listen to me. And based on how we treat each other in that space, you can kind of tell whether the person understood you or not, right?
Right.
Because, they're not receiving you. So that means they didn't receive. Even if you may have had the proper intent, it was not received well. And receiving has a lot to do with a lot of factors. You know what I mean? I thought about football, okay? It was a great day, sunny outside. It's easy to catch a ball, okay? But if it's raining,
right,
the wind's blowing,
right,
the grass is slippery, affects you catching the ball. So think of it in communication. With communication, you have to catch it. So if there's a lot of factors going on while you're trying to catch what the person's trying to give you, you may not get it, and you may drop the ball.
Right.
Boy, that's a good analogy. So my point to you,
really good.
Yeah, Holy Spirit. I give them all credit. So I'm
thinking about those parents, the first-time parents that have infants, and you're trying to get communication. One person's going to work, one person may be staying home. Correct. Or both people are trying to go to work, and now you're trying to pack a baby up and get them to preschool and go to work, and then Correct. You're figuring out who's picking them. Everything's now a process, and you're not just thinking about yourself and your spouse. It's this person that totally depends on everything just for you.
The gridlock problem is something that you have decided to settle with, meaning we just don't talk, and that is your marriage. That is a disaster.
Yeah.
We just don't have sex.
It's in a bad place.
We just don't. So, that means that we're not going to put any effort towards getting it right. So I know my wife has gotten frustrated with me, like, well, and I said, no. I know we're not where we need to be, but I want to work on it. I know I suck right now, and I agree with you, I suck, but I want to get better at whatever it is we got to get better at. Now, I know I'm self-deprecating. I said it to myself, but my point is, I don't want to stay in a place that's not healthy.
Right.
And if I have to fall on the sword and say, I want to work on it, because again, what you don't confront, you don't change.
Right.
And I would never want to stay in a place where we're just going to settle for sucks. This sucks, and we're just going to settle with it. We're going to stay here till the kids graduate, and then to me, that's misery.
Yeah.
I rather, because I believe all things are possible to those who believe.
And it's not God's best for your life.
Correct.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
He didn't mean for marriage to be something you suffer through.
Correct. I'm just going to suffer. For what?
This is what marriage is supposed to be like.
Listen, it's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
Okay, quick things. A couple clues I want to drop on you in dealing with conflict resolution. Number one. Couple tips. Okay. This is actually in the book. Address the issue. Ask questions about the issue. By the way, this is your information, by the way. So this is past CHARMAINE. Acknowledge their why. Ask your partner if they have a solution to the issue. And number 5, try to join them in the problem solving, meaning, how can we work on this together? Don't say, how you going to fix you? How are we going to work on this together? I'll repeat, address the issue. Remember, you'll never change what you don't confront. Ask questions about the issue, meaning don't assume you know. Hey, babe, when you do this, why do you do this?
Right.
Acknowledge their why. Ask your partner if they may have a solution, and then try to join them with finding a solution.
Right.
All right. I can go on longer, but we got the next one. Number 4, connection. Right. One study showed that during the average meal, a couple has 100 connection points. On an average meal, a couple has 100 connection points. So this actually lines with what you've been saying, CHARMAINE. She's like, JOMO, I want us to eat dinner more often together. And it's not perfect, but we're much better. I know I am much better coming out to eat.
Yes, so you have been. And just hanging out.
Yeah. So we can find ways to connect more often. This connection is not just sexual.
Right.
Got it? We can connect intellectually. We can
Mhm.
connect with just a touch. We can connect with a kiss. We can, there's a
Right.
lot of ways a text that we can connect that
Mhm.
doesn't have to always be sex.
Right.
Number 5, personal revelation. This keyword is vulnerability. Can you be honest and can you be real? Babe, I struggle with death.
Mhm.
Losing my mother and my father and my little brother, I became numb.
Mhm.
And I felt as if everything was being taken away from me. And I became too protective of you because of what I was going through.
Mhm.
Now, it took me a long time for me to say that to her, but that's exactly how I felt.
Right.
Then I've had some, friends of mine who say, Jomo, you don't handle death well. I said, yeah, I screw it up a lot. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to manage it well. I have not mastered it. Oftentimes people believe since I'm a pastor, I know about a lot of death. I'm still trying to deal with my own grief. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And sometimes in a
But
relationship,
I think everybody handles death differently, and I think if it's not what people would consider normal, how you handle it, then they think it's wrong. Whereas the way you handle grief is the way you handle grief, and where the way other people handle grief is the way other people handle grief.
correct,
I don't think it's like a right or wrong.
correct. But I think the challenge that I had was
The
to,
compassion part.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I am so beat up right now. Well, I've been beat up for a
You
long
just
time.
don't enter into that
I
world
don't,
of
I have not been,
sorrow.
correct. I have not been able to enter into that world as much as I need to because I've kind of put up walls.
And it's very taxing, especially when you have a large church and you manage a lot of people and you see a lot of death. It's like if you take on that weight each time,
You will be
you would be able to
buried.
function.
You will bury your. So
So
sometimes
it's a balance.
it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But my point to all of us is, can you be vulnerable
Right.
with your spouse,
Right.
naked and unashamed, and say,
Mhm.
"This is where I'm at."
These are my faults.
Yeah,
And not try to hide them
correct.
or be competitive
Correct.
like
I
you sit
blow
on a
this.
pedestal
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't have any faults.
I got issue, and half of our battle, I think, was I do a lot of things very well.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I blow it big because I try to do everything. I try to be everything, but I'm not. So if I mess up, she'll definitely, clarify. Hey, you blew that one, and it is what it is. I mean,
I
who
don't
who brings a gun
celebrate
to the
big.
airport? Who brings a gun to the airport? Who does that? Anyway,
That was an
but
accident.
yeah, it was. Ooh, that was an expensive accident. And lastly, number 6, intimate communication. Mm.
Is this hard for some people?
I,
Intimacy?
it's horrible. I
Is
mean,
it hard though?
hopefully it's hard.
Ah! I wasn't saying it like that. I was saying, is it difficult?
Well, you kept saying it, so I figured I was gonna.
I was saying, is it difficult for some people, the intimacy part? I would think that when dating, there was some intimacy. I'm not talking about sex per se, but some type of intimacy that drew you in that frame of mind or have that type of connection with the person before you even married them.
Yeah,
if you're married and you're
like
watching.
Speaking in her ear or his ear,
Right.
or come to bed. I got something for you.
That's sex.
No, it's they're talking about this whispers in the air.
Mhm.
Now she may have a massage for you. It may not be sex. It may just be like a massage. Maybe a nice massage. My point to you is sweet nothings. I love you.
Sweet nothings.
I love you. Boy, you look wonderful. You're sexy. You're beautiful. You're awesome.
But this is a type of communication for sure.
Yeah.
And some couples have like little keys or clues to let the person know what their expectation is at the end of the night.
I need you.
Some couples, may say something or give some type of verbal
A trigger word.
um
What's
yeah,
the movie, the show we watched, Billions? I don't know what the words, but it'd be funny to me.
Or it may be like nonverbal communication, and then if you're not getting it reciprocated to you, then you're not going to have a good night. And you need to accept that and don't get disappointed when you continue to give the nonverbals and the verbal, and then the person says, no.
Wow, that was unnecessary.
No, they're trying to, let's time out. Whoa, brother. And you're not listening. And then you're like, what you mad about? I done already told you. You ain't getting none.
Wow, that was not nice.
No, I mean, but you have to accept if the person's saying time out, you might want to say what the time out's for. You might want to find out.
Ain't loyal. Yep. How you gonna tell a person this person time out?
I mean, but it's okay for you to do the nonverbal and verbal as to what you want, but then they can't for what they want.
Well, my premise.
We need to have a nonverbal for snuggle.
That's us of the devil. Ain't no snuggling. See, and then you start rubbing up on people, and then all of a sudden it's a double standard, man. It's a double standard. Miscommunication.
Some guys might really like snuggling.
All right, let me ask my brothers right now. For my brothers out there, tell me, put a Y in the chat if you like to snuggle. Just snuggle. Just snuggle.
Don't say it like that. There's nothing wrong with snuggling. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you need to get some rest.
You've been snuggling a lot. Got a lot of snuggling. Good sleep.
I have been.
Yeah,
I've been working really hard.
Yeah, sleeping. Yep, that's a lot of good work going on.
Yep.
Sleeping.
Yep. When it's sleepy time, that's what you're supposed to do. Go night.
Now, it's only women talking about yes to cuddling.
Yes, because sometimes, fellas, you cuddle good, you get a little extra something there.
You see that? That's bribery. That's bribery, y'all.
No, it's not. That's real. That's real. Give a little, get a little. A little.
That's what I'm talking about. I want a little. I want a lot. Anyway. Well, we had a great time with you guys tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you are on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. If you're not on YouTube, please go to our YouTube channel. It's JOMO and Charmaine. We are going to be uploading some videos for you guys, and we come on every Friday night at 7 p.m. Please join us.
We are real, raw, and relevant. Remember this: love, laugh, and learn. God bless y'all. Have a good night. Yeah.